Hello everybody, welcome to the Level 1 Quick Phonics Skills Progression Assessment Overview. So the way the assessment is structured is so that you can print off an individual student profile for each of your students. You can refer to the page numbers which tell you which pages to print for the student profile and which pages to print for the whole class data profile. Obviously, when it comes to the whole class data profile, you'll only need to print one copy. So here is the cover template for your student profiles. You can write your student's name there. You'll see on the contents, on the left-hand side is the phonics progression, and this is according to the Victorian curriculum. So that also includes the Victorian content descriptors there for you. In the middle column, it tells you the resources that are for the students. And on the right-hand side, you have the resource page numbers for the teachers. These are the resources you'll use to read about this assessment information, the scripts for the teachers, and also the individual student data profiles and whole class student data profiles. Now, the assessment is broken down into each sub-skill in the progression. So you can see that this first cover page here demonstrates one sound that can be made by more than one letter, which links to the first progression assessment. So here is the student template that you could give the children to write on. Here is the assessment information. You've got some options there about how you would like to administer the assessment. It's up to you and however it's going to work best for you and your students in your classroom. There's also the script about the assessment introduction and what you could say to get the children ready for this assessment. So here is the script. The coloured boxes are directly related. So the box that you're reading from is the box that the children will write in. We've tried to make that colour match really clear so that the children don't get lost and write in the wrong box. And of course, here is the rubric that you will mark the students on. You'll notice that there are some grey boxes. That is simply just to say that those levels of the rubric do not apply to that letter or sound. We also have the keynote section, which is really important as we always value writing down any learning dispositions, habits, or attitudes that we notice in the children. This is something that we can help them with if it's an issue, so it is important to document it and know that it could be a focus for you as well. I'll just quickly go over the top. Obviously, there's the student name, teacher name, term, and you can tick whether it's a pre or post assessment. And the idea is that you can then compare pre and post assessments to, monitor growth. Okay. You'll start to notice that the assessment follows the same structure for every progression assessment. So here we have the vowel sounds. You have two fonts that you can choose from. One is a plain didactic Gothic font for uppercase and lowercase. And then you've got your Victorian modern cursive as well. Just notice too that the teacher script is actually at the top of this page, which means you only have to deal with one piece of paper, which can be a lot easier. There is also the tip here, and to avoid overwhelm and cognitive load, we always use a white blank piece of paper and cover rows 2 and 3 so the children aren't looking at the other stars with the letters in them. They're only focusing on the row that they're up to. And of course, here is the checklist for you to use for uppercase and lowercase vowel name and sound ID. I won't go through everything because, as I said, it actually follows the same structure, and I will be breaking down the rubrics in a separate video. So I'll just quickly run through and show you what it looks like. You'll notice there's a mix of rubrics and checklists for the student data profile. So with this one, this is the template you would give the students for them to segment CCVC words. I just want to touch on this because there is this page too, but this is actually the teacher script and it's almost like an answer sheet. This is what you want the students to be able to do. We don't want to show the students this page or read out the words like this. Make sure you just follow the script and you shouldn't run into any problems there. Okay, here we are at the whole class data profile. So Some of you may prefer to record the data straight into the whole class data sheets, and that's fine. It will be quicker. It's just that you won't have as much detailed information about your individual students, which we do really value. It's up to you. It's all about being efficient, so whatever you think will work best. Okay, so here for identifiers, one letter that makes the sound, we have all of the different letters or sounds that we talked about in the assessment. So you can just give them a tick or a cross for whether they were able to come up with other letters that make those sounds. This is important, this one. You will see that the vowels are written across the top, and then beneath it, each vowel has an L and S column. This is for the long sound, and this is for the short sound that vowels make. So just be aware that there is a long sound and a short sound checklist for each vowel letter. Okay, and then finally we come to the student goals and groups, which is a really fantastic part of this resource. Just move this. So phonic goals and groups. Here is the progression on the left-hand side. Once you have marked your students onto the whole class data profile, or even onto the individual student data profiles, you'll be able to then put their name beside the part of the progression that they achieve 50% of correct and incorrect answers. This marks an optimal point of intervention, and it also suggests an optimal goal for these students. Once you fill in this template, you've got your whole class goals and you've got your groups if you wanted to have some pull-out phonic groups as well, or knowing that you need to expose those things to a certain group of students. It's really helpful for your planning, and I hope that you're going to love this as much as I do using it in my classroom. Thank you.